The first story that popped into my head when I started writing this newsletter about pain was one from, I think I was maybe around 22, and particularly frustrating one, but isn't that the one that you're probably going to resonate with? So I was upstairs in the landing doing a few mobility exercises. I can't remember where I got them, to be honest, probably off YouTube, off Instagram, maybe same as yourself, just trying different things. And I was doing some sort of yoga stretch for my back. So if you haven't watched other videos, or maybe this is the first video you're watching, I had 10 years of chronic pains and injuries going from around 15 to 25. Obviously steadily getting worse, and at 25 I had to give up sports I love like jiu-jitsu, and I had to give up the gym for a year as well. So this was somewhere in the middle. You know, I didn't have enough pain to take it really, really seriously yet, but I knew that it was really affecting my life. It had gone from affecting my sport, seeped into my quality of life from day to day as well. So I was doing different things, just from stuff online, but as you probably know, it doesn't really get you much progress, does it? Because there's none of this education that we're going to go through today around pain. Didn't know what pain was or how to manage it whatsoever. So I was doing this yoga stretch upstairs, ended up going a little bit too far, and my upper back just locked up, went into a bit of a spasm. And cue me freaking the fuck out, because again, I don't know any of this stuff about pain or what it means, and I would just think like the mainstream tells you that, you know, pain is bad, it means that you've seriously injured yourself, and that's what I thought at the time. So I obviously tried to just come out of the position, and then I remember getting up off the floor, and I couldn't stand up straight. You know, it might sound a bit weird if somehow someone is watching this and they don't have chronic pains or injuries, which might be the case, but I tried to stand up straight, and then when I did, I just get a sharp pain in my upper back that would make me kind of bend over. And I was like, oh Jesus, that's obviously not good. And then I remember hobbling into the bathroom, and I just looked in the mirror, and I looked like the Hunchback in Notre Dame. And I was like, what the fuck has just happened there? And I remember then again, I was like, you know, just try it again. I remember just trying to kind of straighten up my back, and I got sharp pain again in my back, like 8 out of 10 or something like that. And I've a high pain threshold and a tough kid and all that type of stuff. So that's why I was like, oh shit. Like, I think, you know, did I slip a disc in my back, or have I herniated my disc, or did I break a bit of one of the vertebrae in my back or something? I don't know what's after happening here. And, you know, this is the kind of stuff that would happen to me. Like, those incidences, you know, they could be maybe every couple of months or 6 months or something, but it would just be the general tightness, stiffness, all that stuff in between. But then, yeah, now and then these kind of things that happen that are just obviously frustrating. And then to continue on with this example anyway, of course, Mom calls me down for dinner on whatever day that was, literally as I was just in the mirror, you know, looking at my back, and you know, as I go through them, the feelings are coming up again. You know, I'm feeling a bit frustrated just talking about this story, but isn't that the whole point? So I just remember thinking, I don't want to go down for dinner now. You know, I'm annoyed, like I'm pissed off. You know, I don't want to go down, and so I just ignored the call. But then Mark, the call comes again, and you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go down for dinner. What else am I going to do? Wait up here, and she'll come up, and she's going to see me anyway. So I went down, you know, but obviously, like, as this stuff goes on, like, the frustration is just getting so high. Like, I'm on the verge of tears. Like, that's why I didn't want to go down, because I know if I go down, Mum will obviously see that I'm walking around like that. She'll know I hurt my back again, and then I'll have to talk about it. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, it's just sickening me now. Like, it's just so annoying. And I don't want to be bothering my mom with it either, you know. That's kind of separate stuff, which, you know, click into the mental freedom videos on the page if you want to be more self-aware around why you might be feeling like that. But I went down anyway, didn't say anything, just went over, started eating my dinner, and obviously something's wrong, you know, so it's easy enough to tell. And then, yeah, she's asking, like, what's going on, are you okay? And, you know, bare minimum words, because I don't want to end up crying into my dinner looking like a flute. So, yeah, then I had to tell her, look, I hurt my back again. And in these cases, we'd usually do the mainstream stuff, you know, book in with the chiropractor again, who I went to for 8 years. You know, side note, if you're doing something for 3 months, 6 months, never mind 8 years, and it's not working, is it? Time to try something else. But I had no critical thinking or education on the body back then. So it used to be like chiropractor, doctor, physio, painkillers, whatever it was. On this occasion, we called the physio. We actually had a neighbour who was a physio, so that was handy. And like, we'll wrap this up a bit quicker now. Like, long story short, he comes down, does a little assessment on me, has a little look at me, asks me a few questions, blah, blah, blah. And I just pulled a muscle in my back. I just strained a muscle in my upper back from pushing too far into a stretch. And but this is important now as we come full circle through and learn all about pain and how much different parts of pain can affect you, and not knowing about it can make pain worse, and all of these other factors. I kind of didn't believe it. I was like, no, like, I'm pretty tough on a high pain threshold, and like, I think something else has happened here. And then, he's just reassuring me, like, it's just a muscle strain, like, you're fine, don't worry about it or whatever. And then after he convinced me of that, what happens? I instantly actually feel a bit better. And then I'm like, that's actually not really hurting me that much anymore. And then I'm able to stand up straight now, and then I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, I'm a kid that doesn't like to make a fuss. I don't actually want things to be about me. I just want my physical freedom back so I can go and play sports and stuff and not be, nearly crying into my dinner on some random day. Like, and then, just feeling like a bit of an idiot. Like, oh, I'm after making a big fuss out of this now when nothing was really wrong there. So, and people resonate with that. You'll resonate with those kind of stories, just frustration, thinking something's really gone wrong, and then finding out maybe it all actually hasn't, but you're confused then. Like, how has that happened? Why is the pain so bad? Why did it feel like the end of the world? Nearly like, oh, I think I've actually really seriously injured my back here. But yet, it was just a muscle strain. So, they're the kind of moments I look back on. That's why I'm doing this type of stuff of like trying to find people like the younger Mark who, they don't have to be going through that. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. That was what was going on for me for 5 to 10 years. Whereas if someone had sent me this newsletter or had sent me this video, things would have changed on that day forever. So leading into the next section then, before we get into it, like the lack of education. So what's the problem? The problem here is the lack of education. I know nothing about the human body, and all I know is the stuff handed down from the mainstream of, rest your back, mind your back, just the back is fragile, don't do this, don't do that. And me believing that my back is made of glass and just putting myself in bubble wrap, recruited by the bubble wrap brigade, as I'm saying lately, because that's literally what it was. And this is the Nocebo Effect, which you'll see down below. So that's it, the lack of education. When I look back over my own journey, that's the missing link. A great quote that really helps you see what's missing for you is, if you're lost, you need education. If you're educated, you need action. If you're taking action, you need consistency, okay? That's how you're going to get progress in things. But what did I do? What do most people do? We're just taking action and we're being consistent. But we're not taking action or being consistent with the right stuff because we don't have the education to actually know what we should be working on. So the analogies are great. It's just like a car. I'm trying to get somewhere. I've all the fuel in the world, but I've no GPS. I'm going in the wrong direction. Like, I've all the, the don't settle attitude, and I'm not giving up on this. I'm not going to settle for it. And I'm taking action and being consistent, but obviously at the wrong stuff, because I don't understand the only body that I'll ever have, how the human body works. I don't understand anything about it because there's no information out there. So that's why, like, if I had got this back then, I'd be able to see that, yeah, I am taking the action, I am being consistent, but I am feeling lost. It's obviously something to do with the education here. I need to actually start learning about how the human body works. And then that's what I did over time. And that's what we're going to go through here today. We're going to fill in the education gap around pain. So we need to learn what pain actually is, and then how to manage pain. Because how are we going to learn how to manage pain if we don't know what it is? It's like, we'll stick with the car. I want to learn how to manage the car and be able to drive it around. But no, I don't want to learn anything about it. Rules of the road, no. The gears stick the pedals. No, I don't want to learn any of that stuff. I'm just going to get in and drive the car. How is that going to go? Crash it straight into the wall, just like me injuring my back all the time, my hips and my neck and all this stuff. So we need the education, you need the education if you want to actually start moving in the right direction with this stuff. And why? Why the education? Because that's what you want. Like, you may not realize it going around looking for the fixes. You don't really want the fix. You just want to be empowered and be able to look after your own body for life going forward. Like, even if you did get the fix, if it did exist, which it doesn't, you still wouldn't have learned anything. You wouldn't have got the education. So you'd feel a bit better, and then over time you'll go back to the way you were because you didn't learn anything. So moving on from there then, we're going to start getting into it here around what pain is, okay? So I broke it up here into 2 different points. There's a little bit to go through here. This is the really vital stuff that I wish someone had told me years ago, okay? So first one, what is pain? First point I've down here is that it's an output from the brain, okay? So it's a protective mechanism. I have other videos on my YouTube, why we get tight and stiff, so go and watch that one if you haven't. That's what's coming in here, where it's all coming from evolution. It's all coming from evolutionary biology and what we've adapted to do over 6 million years of evolution for humans. We haven't just lived in this modern life forever. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff either, but we've evolved over millions of years, and everything that the human body does, it does it for a reason, because it kept us alive throughout evolution. And pain is one of them. You know, you can think of these things like they're deep instincts deep in the brain that we can't turn off or control, okay? So things like hunger, thirst, sexual arousal, but tightness, stiffness, pain, they're in there as well, which we don't really realize. Like, everyone knows about, like, yeah, hunger and thirst, and we get those feelings for a reason, but people don't seem to know tightness, stiffness, pain. That's the instinctual, primitive stuff as well, actually designed to keep us alive, okay? So that's the first thing to understand. Yeah, just like I said, survival instinct, evolutionary adaptation to keep us alive. We'll go into the second point there, which I touched on. These things can't be fixed or turned off, okay? Like, when I run you through this, the penny's going to drop. Would you go to a dietitian and be asking things like, can you fix my hunger signal? Like, can you fix that signal or turn it off, because it's not helping my life? You know, it's plaguing my life. I'm feeling too hungry, then I eat loads of food, and now I'm getting overweight. So yeah, it'd be great if you could just fix that, please. The dietitian would look at you like you've 2 heads, you know, because we understand what we have to do. We have to manage it. The hunger signal is there for a reason, because if we didn't get a hunger signal, we wouldn't eat, we'd run out of energy and we would die. So we have to manage that hunger signal through coaching, through guidance, through a plan. And then once we learn how to manage that properly, we'll just get hungry at the right times. And that's it. It's managed. It's not fixed or turned off or anything like that. It's just you learn how to manage it with education and coaching. But yet, let's go to pain. We go to the chiropractor to fix our back pain. We go to someone else to fix our neck pain and this and that. And that was me too. Like, I'm not judging here. That's what I did too. That's what I thought needed to be done. But you can see the irony there. Pain can't be fixed or turned off. It's an evolutionary adaptation, just like hunger. That's like, yeah, trying to turn off hunger. That's not how it works. The pain is there for a reason. If we didn't get pain, me and you wouldn't be here now, because the pain has helped us navigate through life to be safe all the way up to here. Like, if we didn't get pain, sure, you could fall into a fire as a hunter-gatherer and you wouldn't even know it's dangerous to stay away from it. You could be sleeping and a dog would be eating your leg and you'd bleed out because you wouldn't feel any pain. Like, it's there to actually protect us and help us navigate through life safely. So there is no fix for it. There's no way to turn it off forever. It's there. But what we can do is treat it the same as the nutrition. We learn how to manage it over time. And how do we do that? It starts with this education. First of all, because straight away, once you know that, you can see that 90% of the stuff out there is bullshit around pain in the mainstream, even on things like Instagram, like 5 best exercises to fix knee pain, 5 exercises that will eradicate your back pain. That makes no fucking sense. Like, in terms of how the human body works, that makes no sense. But you don't know it. And then this leads to more nocebo effects, which we're going to get to down below. Because let's say you try the 5 exercises for knee pain. That doesn't solve your knee pain. Now you think it's something to do with you. Oh, this one is solving other people's needs. It's not solving my knee pain. Maybe it's something to do with my knee. Do you see? And it'll go into all these false beliefs about the body, leads to nocebo effect, leads to more tightness, leads to more pain, leads to you thinking you're broken, leads to you probably settling and giving up things that you love to do. Okay? So this is why the education is so important. It stems into everything else. So that's that one there on, like, you can't turn off the signal, which is really important. Now, what's a more empowering way to start looking at it? The third point on how it's an output from the brain. Think of it like a request for change. That's what you should think of pain like. Think of it like data, information. It's a request for change. It's the brain trying to help us navigate through life safely. Okay, so like once I started changing all this stuff, like rather than, oh, pain in my back is fucked. think I've broke my back or slipped a disc in my back. It's like, no, pain in my back, output from the brain. My body or my brain is trying to protect me, trying to keep me alive, navigate through life. So I've probably pushed into a position that I'm not really ready for at the moment because the brain is actually trying to protect me from a more serious injury. There we go. You know, like that's actually what's happening behind the scenes. But if we don't know this, we'll go off on the nocebo route of thinking we're broken, thinking we're fucked. And as you'll see down below, once we get to more detail on that, that leads to higher pain levels, which explains my situation from, 8, 9 out of 10 pain from just a little muscle strain in my back. Okay. And last one then on the output from the brain, this is a really important one too. Clients love this one. I love this one. Really helped me, is that you can think of pain like a perceived threat. Okay. So it doesn't have to be an actual threat. You can get pain from a perceived threat. Okay. Best analogy here is think of it like a fire alarm. Okay. So fire alarm in the house. Does the fire alarm just go off when the flames have come up and start burning the bottom of the plastic? No. Why? It's way too late then. If the fire alarm is meant to be a protective mechanism for you in your house, you'd be all dead by the time that fire alarm goes off if it waits until there's 100% of fire in the house. So what does it do? What's the best protective mechanism? It goes off at any perceived threat. Okay? So if there's a fire, yeah, the smoke, that'll make it go off. But what else will make it go off? Toast burning, bit of smoke, fire alarm goes off. Is everyone in danger? No, but the fire alarm is still going off. Why? Because for protective mechanisms to actually be useful and save your life, they have to go off at any sign of danger so that when there is an actual event, you're going to be safe. The fire alarm, it's going to be wrong 100 times so that it can be right the 101st time and save your life, rather than not going off 99 times and it misses the one time when there actually was a fire. Okay, so you'll probably see where this is going. We bring that over to the body. If the brain waited until we were on the verge of killing ourselves to give us pain, like let's say with my example, it waited until I did something with my spine so bad that I was going to get a serious injury, it's too late then. It's like that's defeating the purpose of a protective mechanism. It has to warn you way before something bad actually happens, because now it's going to teach you to stay away from that thing and you're going to be more likely to survive, going back to the evolutionary view of it. So that's what it is. And then to translate that over to chronic pain, like pain is there for things like, yes, when we get impact injuries, if someone hits you, if a car hits you, if you fall over and injure yourself, that's what pain is there for, to teach us, like, look, you've got an injury, you need to manage that injury now. But like chronic pain then is different. Getting back pain sitting down, getting back pain tying your shoes. Are you in danger there? No. The spine is perfectly capable to do so much more than that, never mind things like tying your shoes. So you're not in danger at all there. So what's actually happening is it's just a perceived threat from the brain, not an actual threat. So it's literally just like the fire alarm is going off from toasting the toaster. There's no actual fire. But the fire alarm still goes off. We still hear it. Just like the pain signal for you, it's still going off. You're still going to feel pain. It's not made up or anything like that, that some people say like pain is in your head and just don't think about it. Like, it's nothing like that. That's like saying hunger's in your head, thirst is in your head, just turn them off. That's not how it works. They're deep ingrained in the brain from over millions of years of evolution. We're not going to turn these things off. So that one was so helpful to me and loads of clients as well around the back pain, like chronic back pain, neck pain, all these other things. Like when it happens, it's just comforting to know, oh, that's actually just like, yeah, the fire alarm's gone off to the toaster now. It's not a massive deal. And obviously we've plans and stuff to manage that with exercise and other education. And that's what it is, because it's pivotal. Like it's so important. Like I could pick out loads of client examples, but one that pops into my head is from an ex-client, Tom. So Tom was a big dude, deadlifted over 200 kg, I can't remember whatever it was. And one time he did hurt his back deadlifting. Did he get a bulging disc or whatever it was? This is years ago, I can't remember exactly. And chronic back pain years later, because, he stopped deadlifting, stopped going to the gym, going the healthcare route, led to believe he's broken and fragile, you can't do things like that again, and big nocebo effect, he's very worried about his back. And then he was actually getting back pain from picking up his washing basket to bring it down to the washing machine. So that's the kind of stuff, like that's, how disempowering is that? Going from deadlifting, probably was a 220 kg or something, to now years later, can't even pick up his washing basket. And as you'll see, it doesn't have to be that way. He just doesn't understand what this pain is. And if he doesn't understand it, he can't learn to manage it and get back doing the things that he wants to do. So after this type of education, this is just a part of the education I go through on pain with clients. After this, months later, I get a text. Mark, I've actually been picking up the washing basket over the last week, and I forgot about it. I actually didn't get pain. I just completely forgot about it. And like that, that's why I'm doing this stuff. Like, fuck me. Just from the education side there, obviously we did mobility exercises, strength exercises for the spine, which he wasn't doing either. But it all fits together. Like, if he didn't understand that the pain, like I told him, it's just the toaster. It's like the fire alarm is going off from toasting the toaster for you and learning how to calm down and be able to manage this going forward. So we'll leave that section there. So that's the first one, learning that it's coming from the brain. It's an output from the brain trying to actually protect you. It doesn't mean that your back is fucked when you're getting back pain. So on to number 2 then, pain is a unique experience for the individual. So this is vital as well, because if you're like me, you've gone to loads of different experts. Some people can make you feel like, yeah, as I said, like you're kind of imagining the pain, or the pain is in your head. But like I just explained, it's an evolutionary instinct. We can't turn these things off. It's like hunger, thirst, sexual arousal. Pain is in there as well, okay? So I think the easiest thing to explain this to you will be through another analogy. This analogy really helped me too, to show how everyone's pain is different. Just like in that example there at the start of me getting 8 out of 10 pain from pushing into some stretch. Someone else with chronic pain could do it and maybe get a 4. Someone else could get a 10, depending on where the beliefs, the emotion, the mindset is at around pain, which we're going to dive into now. So take this example. Let's just say me and you have to go and get an injection, but we have different experiences around it previously in our life. Okay, so for me, my experience was good. Okay, I've got injections when I was younger, got vaccinations in school, whatever. Experience was fine. It all went grand, wasn't a big deal. So from the experience, what's my beliefs then underneath that? Beliefs that vaccinations are normal. I got one before, it's fine. I'll get one again, it's going to be fine. Cool. And then what's the emotions coming from that belief? I'm calm. It's not bothering me. I'm kind of more worried about the sport I'm going to play in the evening after that, or what I'm going to eat for dinner after that. I'm not really thinking about this. Cool. Now we'll go to you. Okay, so experiences, beliefs, emotions. That was my ones. What are your ones? Experience, pinned down by the doctor when you were younger to get an injection because you really didn't want to get it, but it was one that you needed. Bad experience. What's your beliefs now from that? You believe vaccinations are bad, or injections are bad, or that it's something to be feared, or that it's going to go wrong. Okay, all along those lines. What are the emotions coming from that now? Coming from that experience and that belief? You're going to be freaking out. You're going to have such anxiety going in there. You're going to be fearful. You're going to be sweating. Your heart's going to be pounding. You're going to be freaking out. Just like me on the landing upstairs when I hurt my back. You're freaking out because you're scared. Like, your brain is literally thinking of survival here. Your brain doesn't know if you're going to die or what's going to happen here, and it's ramping everything up to prepare for the worst, fight or flight. Like, it's getting ready to do what it has to do to save your life. So that's the difference. In your experience, beliefs and emotions. We go in, get the same injection from the same nurse in the exact same way. Then we come out the other end, fill out a form for our pain 1 to 10. Do you think they're going to be the same? Of course they're not going to be. Mine could be maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 just from the prick of the needle. What will yours be? Yours could be 7, 8. Yours could be 10 out of 10 in pain. But it's the exact same experience externally, but yet internally they've been completely different. So you can see there how the point says, like, pain is a unique experience to the individual. No one else will understand exactly what your pain is like, only you will. And you can see it there with that example that we've got an injection in the exact same way. My pain is 1 or 2 out of 10. Your pain is 8, 9, 10 out of 10. Okay? So you can, hopefully pennies are dropping there for that. Really did for me. And that'll explain then how people are reacting differently to different injuries, and maybe someone gets the same injury as someone else. Their pain is 8 out of 10, their pain is 2 out of 10. It's all going to come back to the education around it. And even when people don't have education like we're going through here, their experiences, beliefs, emotions, whatever they've had before, that's what's going to be fueling the pain that's coming out on the other end. Okay, so that's enough now. A bit longer than I thought there, but that's 2 points on pain. Look, there's loads more, but that's enough to get you started. Moving down further then on how to actually manage pain. Okay, we've learned a bit about it. Now let's look into how to actually manage this. There's a few points here. First one, we need to understand the biopsychosocial model of pain. Okay, so this is one of the most up-to-date models on pain at the moment. Again, they're all models, so maybe not be fully accurate, but it's very, very useful and empowering when we learn a bit more about this one. Okay, so with this one, biopsychosocial, it sounds confusing, doesn't have to be. Biology, psycho is psychology, and then social is social. So biopsychosocial model of pain. Essentially, what does that mean is that, I might actually get Hannah, maybe can she pop it up there somewhere if you get the visual? If not, look, I'm going to explain it here anyways, and you can Google it too. Biopsychosocial. It's like a Venn diagram, okay? So it'll be 3 circles and they're overlapping in the middle. Pain is in the middle, okay? So what it means basically is that there is no one cause for pain, okay? Worth repeating another 100 times, but there is no one cause for pain. It's a combination of loads of different factors across biological factors, psychological factors, social factors, or environment, you could say, social/environment, okay? So there is no one cause for pain. It's a combination of things across biological factors, psychological, and the environment, social aspect too, okay? This is so important. Why? Again, just from knowing this, most of the stuff out there you can see is bullshit. Again, going back to, I can fix your pain, or, oh, do you have pain in your hip? It's coming from this exact exercise for your shoulder because it's at this degree and it should be at the other degree. And, oh, it's because you have anterior pelvic tilt, posterior tilt your hips, and the pain up at your left earlobe, I pointed at my right one, up at your left earlobe will disappear. Like, this isn't the truth. Can these things help? Yes, but that's not how pain actually works. Okay, there's no one cause for pain. So we can have all these theories, and that can look like it's the answer for some people, but if we're just straight talking, that's not how pain works, okay? And again, some of that stuff can lead to nocebo effects and thinking, oh, I did the exercise, that didn't solve the issue, maybe it's something to do with me, yada, 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 okay? So there's no one cause for pain. There's different boxes, different circles that we can look at and start to address, and that's leading into the best approach here. Like, why is this model useful? Because first of all, we see there is no one fix, there is no one cause for our pain. Unfortunately, I wish there was, but when I started looking for it, this is what I found out, the actual truth around it. So there's no one cause for pain. What's the best approach here then if I want to manage my own pain? We're half an hour in. Is we want to tick as many boxes as we can. That's all we can actually do. So we tick as many as we can in the biological one, as many as we can in the psychological, as many as we can in the social. So to give you a few here, for example, in the biology, that will be things like working on mobility program, strength, coordination, all those things in the program, but also things like sleep, nutrition, all of those things will affect pain levels as well, believe it or not. Then psychological, this is the most important. This is what people who study pain science will say. The psychological aspect of pain is the most important, hence the need for education and all this stuff. You're not going to overcome chronic pains long term and get back your physical freedom without knowing these type of things. So again, in there, it's things like, your experiences, your beliefs around those experiences, and the emotions coming from that. All that is the psychology stuff, like we talked about with the injection example. That's huge in terms of your chronic pain. Just like Tom went from pain picking up the washing basket to no pain picking up the washing basket, mainly around the psychology to do with pain. And then the last one, the social, the environment. The social is like who you're listening to for information. That's why I say so many times, follow the results and be very careful who you listen to for information on the human body. Make sure they're practicing what they preach and can show it with their own body, and that they have loads of results of the same with clients, because otherwise you're going to be listening to the wrong people. That leads into your psychology being disempowered, believing you're fragile, broken, all that stuff, and then it leads into not actually working on the mobility and stuff that you need to work on to get over this. So that's how it actually goes. I think of this like a loop. This is not how it's described, but this is how I think of it. It's like a loop, and it can start to spiral negatively, or it can start to spiral positively. And it all starts with the social, who you're listening to. Because for me, very quickly, 10 years chronic pains and injuries, I listen to the chiros, the doctors, the osteopaths, all the healthcare route, the mainstream route. telling me I'm fragile and broken, 5 different diagnoses, what's wrong with your body, you can't get back to sport, time to settle, take up swimming. How do you think that affected my psychology around pain? Like, I thought I was a piece of glass. Like, I thought, do you know, at 25, this is it, like. And I did have to give it up for a while because things had got so bad. But I wasn't, that obviously wasn't the case. I'm back now better than ever, but my experiences, my beliefs around the body, all this stuff was so negative. And then, of course, what happens? The biology. I'm not doing any mobility training. I'm not even moving my back because I'm afraid it's going to break in half. And I'm told to rest it and leave it. And then it gets weaker and tighter and stiffer and more pain. Do you see? So like that went all the way down here to give up things I love to do and went following the results on my own journey to actually get back control. But now, once I found better people, talking about how adaptable the human body is, teaching me about all these type of things, that leads into my psychology changing. My beliefs are changing. Maybe I'm not fucked. Maybe the body actually is so adaptable. Yeah, there's the Mockin tribe. They've adapted to see underwater to the level that dolphins can. They're humans just like I am. If they can adapt like that, why can't I adapt and move my back a bit better? I train my biceps, they get stronger. Why can't I train my back and that gets stronger? Do you see, like, just all basic stuff that makes sense that I started thinking and I was like, actually, yeah, what the fuck, why have I believed all this other stuff before? So my beliefs change, then my experiences start to change. I start training my spine, starts to feel better, the tiny stiffness slowly going down. I'm like, holy shit. And you know, the emotions are changing now. I'm not fearful of it anymore. You see, so like, that's where the main change is happening. And then that's linked over to how I train then, the biology. And that's, you're looking at me now 5-6 years later, you know, gone from fucked hips to the front splits, gone from fragile and broken, back pain, iron and shirts to running an untrained marathon in barefoot shoes in 5 hours. You know, like just, as I said, like further down, I'll just bring it up here. I'm showing you how I've gone from A to Z just because I want to completely shatter beliefs and show you that you can fucking go from A to C or A to D or A to Z if you want. It's up to you, but I'm just showing all that to say, look, I've gone from A to Z because I love this and I was so passionate and I wanted to see how far I could take it, and obviously I want to inspire others as well. But if I can go from A to Z, you can go from A to B or to C or to D, you know, get over the issues, improve your quality of life, get back to your sport. So that's that one. We'll skip it on now for sake of time. Nocebo Effect. I think we might finish on the nocebo effect. There's more than enough in this video already now. Nocebo effect, what is that? We all understand what the placebo effect is, or most of us do. If you don't, placebo effect is if you believe so strongly in something, you can actually get positive effects from that. And like this has been proven in so many different studies. Like if you're hearing this for the first time, it is a bit mind-blowing. Like it just shows the incredible power of the brain and the incredible power of beliefs, which is why that psychology aspect is so important. Like very quickly, they would do studies like have people with a certain illness and then divide them into 2 groups, and one group will get the pill with whatever medication, the other group will get a pill but there's nothing in it. You know, it's something like but it's not medication, it's just a dud. It's a dud pill, and then they'll see how those 2 groups progress. And like in the studies, it's things like they have medication, they don't have medication, both groups are getting progress, you know. So like both groups are feeling better, like overcoming whatever it was that they were studying. So, you know, and it's been studied so many times. So it's just like they had the medication, they believed they had the medication, even though they actually didn't, and they still got results with it. You know, so that's the power of the brain. This is why when people actually believe certain things, you know, this is why things like healers will work. You know, if you go to a healer for something, if you believe it enough, you're going to get some sort of positive benefit out of it. But again, it's just coming from the power of the mind. Or I guess whatever you believe. You see, like, who really knows? But the nocebo effect then is the opposite, and people haven't heard about this. I never heard about it. Clients, I don't think any client has heard about the nocebo effect when I bring it up. Think of it, it's the placebo effect's ugly twin, the evil twin. Okay, so placebo, believe in this positive effect and it's going to help me. You get a bit of a positive effect. What's nocebo? You believe this thing is really not helping you. It's going to have a negative effect. What happens? That helps you to get a more negative outcome. Okay, and then, you know, bring that up to all the stuff I talked about. Essentially, all the stuff I was told in the psychological stuff from the mainstream, from the experts, it's all nocebo effects. I was nocebo to fuck, just like everyone else is. Oh, you hurt your back? Mind your back there. Just don't bend over that way. That's leading me, like over time, once you listen to that, mind your back, rest your back, you've scoliosis of your spine now, oh look, your hips are out of place from soccer and sliding tackles, one leg's longer than the other. Like I could list off all these things I was told from so many different people. What'll I start to believe? Of course I'll start to believe, oh actually, yeah, maybe if I do bend over that way, I might slip a disc in my back or hurt my back. And then because I believe that the nocebo effect is happening there. That like I'm going to feel tighter now going that way. I'm going to feel more anxious and nervous, and I'm going to actually feel more pain there because my brain, it's like the fire alarm going off to the toast. There's nothing actually dangerous there happening, but it doesn't matter because my internal experience is leading to that pain through this nocebo effect. So it's literally like part of the reason I'm making these videos is just once you go through this, it's armoring you with a bit of critical thinking and a bit of education. And because I think of it like the war against misinformation on the human body. I've gone straight into battle. I know there's nothing to be afraid of, but everyone else is too afraid. It's like I'm trying to give people armor, a bit of critical thinking, a bit of education to see this isn't true. You can go ahead and start doing things you want to do. You don't have to be held back by all this misinformation. So that's the armor, is like learning about things like the nocebo effect, learning what pain is so that we can actually overcome these things. Okay, because otherwise, it's like running into battle with no armor on. You're going to get slaughtered, like trying to go back to your sport, not understanding what pain is, not doing the right programs. You're going to get injured again, and then you're just going to give it up over time, like I did for a time as well. Okay, so I think we probably have enough there. I'll just wrap it up. Look, there's other stuff there. I've gone on enough here now in this video. I'll finish it by the conclusion that I had here, which was one of the realizations that I had over my whole journey. Like I've had 10 years of chronic pains and injuries to overcome that now, and like 5-6 years later, doing stuff I didn't even know if it was possible to get to this stage. And what was the realization then is that pain can be your greatest tormentor, or pain can be your greatest teacher. Okay, so pain can be your greatest tormentor, or pain can be your greatest teacher. And this is for all aspects of life: physical pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, whatever it is that you want to talk about here. Obviously we've talked about chronic pains on the body, but you've two paths from there. I like to make, take all the fluff away, put it down to what are the actual choices in front of you, what are the practical next steps that you can take here, rather than getting lost in all this and going nowhere. For me, with the chronic pains, with any pain in my life, there's only two paths forward when you really think about it. One path forward: ignore it, don't look into it, avoid it. Pain will become your greatest tormentor now over your life. What's the other path? Check the ego, listen to it, dive into it, try to actually learn from it. Pain will become the greatest teacher you ever had in this life, okay? Geez, getting even a bit emotional kind of saying that, because that's how it's been for me. Like I look back, the 10 years, it was the greatest tormentor. Like I didn't know anything about it. Like, yeah, I've never looked into it. No one taught me anything about it. Like I've gone to all the experts. Like just think of this, I've gone to the experts because I'm tight and stiff and because I'm in pain. What was I never taught? Why do we get tight and stiff in the first place? What pain actually is and how to manage it? It's like going to a maths teacher and they don't even teach you addition and subtraction. Like how was I going to get progress there? That's the frustrating thing, because so many people are going through the same at the moment, and I know it's going to be a dead end for you, and you're going to have to get some sort of pain until you start finding pages like mine and seeing the way out of it. So I had that path to pain being the greatest tormentor in my life, and then obviously once I was, Health Carew basically said, that's it, time to settle, give up, nothing we can do. And I was like, no, that's not how my fucking story ends. I'm not going to settle for that, go off on my own journey. Pain has become, I've started to learn all about it. Pain has become the greatest teacher I ever could have imagined. For chronic pains, for mental pain, other stuff in my life, gaining deeper self-awareness, helping with relationships, like everything. Because now I know why pain is there. Just like I said from evolution, everything that happens in the human body, it's there for a reason. Because it was useful in keeping us alive. Pain was one of the greatest ones. As I said, if we didn't get pain, we wouldn't be here. Like pain helps you navigate through your life. That's what it's there for. So if you keep ignoring it, it's not going to go anywhere because you haven't learned the lesson. Do you see what I mean? Like ignoring these 10 years of chronic pains and injuries, or maybe it's 6 months for you, 2 years, 5 years. If you still have it, you haven't learned the lesson, have you? Like we need to dive into these things and actually learn from them. And that's when it'll be turned from tormentor to greatest teacher, and we'll start being able to overcome these things. Okay. So I think we'll leave it there. Sorry, a very last point then, which I had in, and it's important to put in, is that there are no gurus here around the human body. You know, like, I'm not an expert here. Like, don't think of it like that. Like, there'll be reviews and stuff linked below which you can look at, and you'll see great client results, and you'll see me doing the front splits and stuff. There's been no magic pill. I've no special exercises. There's nothing special about me. You know, I will just say I don't settle. I'm very determined. I'm very passionate, and I love learning, and I love helping people, and all these things. Like, yeah, look, I'll accept all that, but like, nothing special about me. Anyone could do these things, you know, and it's just to take myself down off the pedestal that some people put me on, because that's what happens. I still remember my own journey back at the very start, seeing people maybe doing the splits, being like, Jesus, I could never do something like that. You know, and then some of them will make out that like, oh, it's only me, and if you need my program, it's only me that can get you this kind of results. Where, and I did see a few kind of being like, look, it's just better education, bit of coaching and guidance, you know, understanding how progress works, understanding how pain works, all these things, and yeah, anyone can improve. And that was so empowering to me. And you take them down, you're like, yeah, I can do these things. And then I just started looking at people like inspiration. That's it, just inspiration. Show me what's possible, and that's hopefully what I'm doing here for you. Okay? So we'll leave it there. There's a lot of stuff there on pain, getting a bit amped up about all that stuff. But yeah, there'll be other links there. If you want to read the newsletter version, that'll be in the description there. All the client results are in there as well. If you want to click in, read through those as well, because it's not just me. Look into the Don't Settle squad there. All the people coming back from chronic pains, injuries, getting back to things they love to do, gets me so fucking pumped. You know, across, it's like 30 different sports have helped people get back doing what they want to do. You know, and I want that for you as well. So the coaching application link is there too. Fill that out if you are interested, you don't want to settle anymore. If you do fill that out, then I'll get back to you in 1 to 2 days or whatever. We'll have a bit of a chat. I'll explain more about it, and we'll get a free consultation call to see if we're a good fit to work together. Besides that, then there'll be other links in there too, and you can have a look down in the description. So we'll leave it there. Hopefully this stuff was useful around the pain and how to manage it. Vital stuff, like I said, if you do want to overcome chronic pains and injuries, get your physical freedom back long term to do the things that you want to do. Okay, so until next time, don't settle, and we'll see you in the next one.